Hello, today we are building a road trip themed commission keyboard. The person who commissioned this board is currently on an extended road trip across the country, and what better way to celebrate it than with a keyboard? As you can see already, we are starting with the banana milk tactile switches, which come in this cute little milk Yakult-like bottle. They are unlubed from the factory, so they have a bit of spring ping, which we are hoping to remove with some lubing. Here we are using my trusty switch opener to open some of these little guys, and you can see each individual part. Next, I speed up the video 10,000%, not an exaggeration, to open the rest of the switches, and you can see it does take quite a long time to do this. And this is just the first step. In total, there are 61 keys on this PCB, so 61 switches we have to open and lube individually. Here I show you where I'll be lubing on the bottom housing and stem, but I point out the feet of the stem because we do not lube these for tactile switches, unless you want a mushy typing experience. A little insight into my process: I lube the bottom housing, then place the spring, which I chose not to lube, and then lube the stem. Now I try to be cute and get this sick match cut, and then I realize I moved my camera so the shots don't line up. But now we have many lube switches. Look at that B-roll. Next up, as part of the modding process, are the stabilizers. You get the classic Durock V2s here, my personal choice of stabs since I'm an old head and know nothing new. There are a lot of different mods that have developed over time for stabilizers, and I learned that if you just tune your stabilizer right the first time, all other mods I feel pale in comparison. Tuning your stabilizer means taking the long wire and making sure it is completely straight and unwarped, physically bending it if necessary. Next, I show you my lubing technique for the stabs. I first lube the walls of the outer housing, then pull the inner housing through, and then lube the walls after. Next, we lube the bends of the wires. Lots of contention here with what to lube the wires with, but I prefer Krytox 205G0 over dielectric grease, as I found that the latter can be too much if done incorrectly, and can at best result in mushy stabs, or at worst impede the returning motion of the spacebar and other modifier keys. But overall, preference is what matters. Here I also speed up lubing the stabilizer and also putting it together to show you how it's done. But this process also takes a little bit of time, so we will fast forward this entire process too. Here I am attaching the stabs to the keyboard, and you will soon watch in real time as my world crumbles around me halfway through the commission board. For now, here is the PCB, nice and pretty. Specifically a DZ60 RGB hot swap, which I don't know if they make anymore. Here's the Walnut case as requested. Here is the case and PCB foam from Stupid Fish Designs, my personal favorite foam vendor. Foam will help to absorb any hollowness from the case, which will result in a nice, thick, full sounding press. First you put the case foam, then the PCB foam, and then realize a grave error. I put the palm plate on top to confirm my suspicions, and yep, the plate and foam do not fit the PCB. I have the wrong PCB. But fear not, I am always prepared and have the same exact keyboard built in my growing keyboard collection, so I proceed to gut my own keyboard and swap some parts around. You can see on my personal PCB, I have some painter's tape on the back of it. This is called a Tempest tape mod, which helps to also bring out a poppy sound when typing as well. I begin the process of removing all the keycaps and switches and essentially replace everything back into the case. Here I try to be fancy again with the switches and put them all in, and bam, we're done. Match cuts. Keycaps of choice are of course the Road Trip Keycaps by AlohaKB, and we're just gonna slap these on too. And the finishing touch is this little Shiba dog Artisan. We're gonna name this little guy Boba after their actual black and white Shiba. Perfect. Always love a good Artisan to finish off a custom keyboard. And now we hook this up to my computer and let's give it a sound test. And that's the keyboard. Hope you enjoyed, and let's build together again soon.